Good evening, team. Good evening, team. Yes, Simon, please go ahead. Good evening, team. Good evening, friends.
Good evening, sir.
Hey, how are you?
Fine, how are you, sir?
Can we start?
Yes, we can start.
Okay.
Evening, sir. Yes,
Yes,
you're good to
yes,
go. You can start.
We're good to go, eh?
Yes.
Okay, so good evening once again. Allow me to welcome you. It's been a while, but allow me to take you through some of the content you're supposed to be going through in the next 1 or 2 weeks. And today we are having this discussion. I would like to have another class either tomorrow during the course of the day and even Saturday. So basically, I'm looking at about 3 classes. And with those 3 classes, I think we'll be good to go. We shall be having assignments preceding our classes. I've already added some content onto our e-learning platform. Probably I should start with that one and display it to you. I'll do it at the end to make sure that we're able to follow through with the assignments that will be inclusive. So this is basically the practical session of our discussions. It's very brief, but very, very encouraging and very participatory. So this evening, I want to take you briefly through Microsoft Word. Word is a word processing application that allows you to use an Office suite that is primarily used to enter, edit, format, save, retrieve, and also print documents. So things to do with report writing, letters, and so on and so forth are supposed to be handled by Microsoft Word or word processor. Now, going ahead, we have a number of objectives to achieve. One is to be able to identify the main components of the user interface of a word processing application, identify the purpose of the commands on the menu bar, explain the difference between a copy, cut, and a paste, work with the buttons on the toolbar, work with the pointer program, and also work with the text characters in a program. To be able to explain the use of the primary keyboard shortcuts and key combinations at the end of the day. And of course, this comes along with regular make sure that we know what to use when and how to use it. We should be able to perform some basic tasks using Microsoft Word processor, but also be able to work with the documents, pictures, language tools, which looks at spell checks or dictionary. Various benefits of using Word should be explored in the process. Now, going into the Word itself, I want to look at Office 2010, which gives us what we call an Office suite for Office 2010. So in this case, this office suite is supposed to take us through. When we talk of office suite, we mean Word, Excel, Access, and PowerPoint. So those are some of the office suite tools that we look at, and that's what we'll be able to look through in our discussions starting today going forward. So I'll be looking at Office 2010, which is an advancement of Office 2007. And I also want to encourage you that we upgrade our offices from our different machines that we use. The latest being Office 2010. If you can have 2013 onwards, that would be excellent. So when we go into the Word application itself, we now have to look at the Microsoft Word window as it looks like. In the Word 2010, the Word window looks like this. It has a number of terminologies that I want us to go through. One, we need to mention that we have different versions and they appear differently, because when you go to a Word Office 20, that is Office 2020, 16, and so on, you have a slightly different interface, but it all give us the same functionality at the end of the day. They are what we call the outline, which is in red. If you look at this red bit here, up here, that outline is called the title bar. And usually that is where we place, or that's where we have the name of the document we are working on, especially after saving it. As you look at this, it shows document 1, meaning it is not yet saved through there as a document 1. Then secondly, of course, that's what I've just explained. We have the 3 extreme buttons on the right-hand side. These ones, as you see them down here. There is a minus button, the next button, and also the X button. So the minimize button, we have the maximize restore button, which is in the middle, and also have the close button, which is at the extreme right-hand side, and is denoted by letter X. So on every document that you're going to open, on every application you're going to open, those 3 buttons will have to exist and they cut across. So even if you're using Mac, they are circles instead, but they represent the same thing. So when the moment you restore your documents, you'll be able to see them at the bottom of your screen, just at the bottom here. That's why you can restore them from to be visible onto the screen. And as you go through the restoration, you're able to look at the different open documents that you can work with. In the previous version of Office, we had on the tab here, we had a tab called Document. And whenever you click at it, you'll be able to see a list of documents which are open. Now the same has been transferred down on the status bar, that whenever you want to restore a list of documents open, will be able to display, and then you choose a specific document. Okay. The next one is this outline area here. It's called the quick access toolbar. Usually this is editable. This is usually editable. And whenever okay, so this is very editable. And whenever you are working with Microsoft Word, that section, let me just share again. Okay, so there we are. It says that section is always editable. And whenever you want to add, you can add a few other quick access toolbars or buttons. But usually we'll have 3 buttons, and that is the save, the undo, the redo, or repeat, save as. Those are some of the items that we find in the quick access toolbar. And next to the access toolbar, of course, this is available for Office 2007, Office 2010. And this is the whole of this is referred to as the ribbon. A ribbon is nothing other than a group of commands, a section that has a group of commands with which we can use to do a number of tasks. For example, if you look at a ribbon for Format Painter, this clipboard ribbon, we have paste, we have cut, copy, Format Painter, and also all these are available. Then you also under the font, we have a number of commands, paragraph, a number of them, styles, a number of them, and so on and so forth. Now at the top of the ribbon, in between the ribbon and the title bar, which we looked at the start, is usually where we find the tabs. So we have the File tab, the Home tab, the Insert tab, Page Layout. Each of these has several other commands that are already been embedded within each of them. So we are going to see what happens when you click at each of those commands. The File tab in a specific way also has a number of items. For example, we can do save as when you're saving a document for the very first time. We can do save when we are saving updates or changes within a document. But we can also do the info bit if you want to know details about the document we're working on. That's what you're able to see at this extreme end around here. That's the information about this specific Word application. So each of the Word applications has a number of functions under the File tab. We have the Home tab that contains a list of commands most associated with the formatting and editing of texts within any given document. The clipboard is there, the font is there, paragraph is there. And as I keep clicking out or moving to each, you'll see that they keep moving, and whatever is displayed on the Snake font, we get to the section for font and the Home tab. We have the paragraph, we have the styles, editing bit. So there are quite a number. We also have another tab called Insert that has pages as one of the ribbons, tables, illustrations, links, head and footer, text, and then symbols. So each of the tabs, as I explained, has a number of commands that we can actually talk about. So these are some of the commands that we find there, and it's important that we try out working with them to make sure that we get acquainted with these different commands for our own good at the end of the day. What we would have loved to see that as teachers to be, or as teachers already in the field, given the new curriculum that we have, it is important that we embrace some of these applications to make sure that we're able to meet and teach our learners effectively wherever they are. So these are just a number of the commands that I'm just going through. This presentation has already been uploaded onto our platform. I'll make sure I put the recording available for us to use. So as I move ahead, allow me open a Word application so that you're able to go through this with ease. Okay. This is a Word application I've just opened. Allow me remove what we don't need. Okay. Are we still together, team? Feel free to unmute and respond. Are we still together?
Yes, me, I'm with you.
Yes, we are
Okay.
together.
Now, on a word window, we said we have the file bit, and this is the file. It has a number of options or commands. And then second, we have the home button, which is giving us all these ribbons or groups of commands. Then we do have the insert. We have the draw, tab, design, layout, references, mailings, and so on and so forth. So what we are going to do is to be able to go through these one by one to make sure that probably we understand them. At the top here, this is where we find the quick access toolbar, as I explained, and we find things like save, undo, redo. At the top here, we see the word as document one. So if we want to save this, then you should be able to choose the name from document one to something else. So assuming we want to save, we go to File, Save As. We locate where I want to save our document. So we can browse, and you're going to put it under Documents. We'll come and give it a name. This is Mesulat class. And then the file type below here is Word document. We can go ahead and say maybe we save in the compatibility mode of the 2091 and 2013. If it is there, 97 to 2003 document, and then you save the document. Whatever we are going to do next will be saved as changes to this specific document. Now, one, assuming we want to add some content. So what we do, we go ahead and insert a number of texts. So we insert text to make sure that we are able to work together. So one of the things I want us to look, we shall be looking at, one, working with the assigned office, the basics, opening documents, saving documents, text basics, and so on and so forth. Okay. So we're starting with text basics. So usually, if you're new to Microsoft Word, you'll need to learn the basics of working with the text so that you can type, reorganize, edit your texts. This includes add and delete. And for us to be able to do this, we have what we call the insertion point. If you look at this work we are working with a window, whenever you see the cursor bring becomes the insertion, that's our insertion point, where we are going to start typing our text. Okay. So here you'll say maybe this is true. We shall be the classes based on the following is. Okay. Now that is a sentence. For you to move to the next, you can press the enter button on your keyboard. And this enter button on the keyboard will be able to help you to take you to the next line. For example, this is to notify you that we shall be having classes or online classes based on the following days. So day number one, that means under your home button, you're going to employ some of these features that you see here. For example, you're going to look at blades and numbering and a paragraph. There is this blades and numbering. There is this section here, blades. There are these numbers. There are these multi-level list as well. So let me start with the blades. So simply blades, then come and choose a specific blade. Number one, following days, Thursday. Now to move to the next, the second line, you press the enter button, takes you to the second line. Saturday, and probably maybe Sunday. Okay. Now you move to the next line. If you want to exit this and go back to the normal typing, you enter twice. You enter twice. Then once you're there, then you're able to move to the next activity. So we shall be having classes at the designated time. So now we can go back and choose another numbering format.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
About we closing the bulletin, I didn't get it well. How do we stop the bulletin on the next paragraph?
Okay. So assuming you're continuing here, you're going to press the enter button. It gives you the next bullet. Okay.
Yes.
Now, assuming you only wanted to have 3 and you want to exit and move to the next, not go back to the previous formatting, just press the enter button the second time. The second time, it exits that kind of bulletin. We are going to see it again below here, different times. So I'm going to choose the numbering. Which numbering would you want to use here?
The Roman numerals.
Okay, so you come to, you call Roman numerals 1. So maybe that is 8 to 9 p.m. Okay. Then also 9 to 10 a.m. in the morning. And also once in a while, probably at 2 to 4 p.m. Okay. So if you want to exit once again, press enter twice, you will be good to go. So it takes you back to the previous formatting.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. So I want to add some random text. Allow me add some random text for you to be able to work with this text. So with this text that I've just entered, there are a few things I want us to look at. 1, I want us to know, how do we select sentences? You're going to press your cursor at the start of the sentence, left click once, the whole sentence will be selected. If you want to select all these, you can just click at the start and then you drag downwards, which is what we are used to doing. I hope you are okay with that. Yes. Secondly, you can also decide to select one word at a time. So that's why you want to start selecting one word at a time. Press the control button on your keyboard and press the arrow key moving to the left. Okay, sorry, shift button, apologies. Shift button, that is one letter at a time, and then we'll be able to move to the next. If you want to select one word at a time, press the control button and the shift together, press them and hold them down, then press your arrow key to keep selecting one word at a time, like that. That's basically using the keyboard to be able to select a few things. If you want to select a line using your keyboard, just press your shift button and press the arrow key pointing downwards to be able to get to select a line at a time. If you want to select everything at once, Control A to select everything at once, or whatever you say you want will be selected, and then you'll be good to go to make the changes you want. In selecting the number of things we look at, one you want probably select to change the size. So go and select the text for which you want to change the size. Come to font size here. Font size here. Choose a size of your choice. Sometimes we give you questions and we ask you to choose that to select a text and give it a size maybe 24 over 14 points or 11 points or 9 points. So what you need to do is come select the text that you've been requested to select. Come to font type here. You can also type 9.5. and then press enter. The text is going to be shrink to 9.5 as a font size. If you want 7, still you can go back to select, and then you go back to the font section, put 7 or 7.5, press enter to confirm that kind of. If you look at this, the 7.5 is not listed anywhere. So whatever is not listed here, you simply go back and type into that section, and that's why you'll be able to find that content. Even if you want to make it 2 or 4, press enter. That content that you selected will be taken to a font size of 4. Then for font types, select the text you want to change the font type. You want to change the font type. And when you select that text, please go ahead and choose a font type of your choice, and then you'll be good to go. Okay? Any questions? Feel free to type your questions in the chat room as well. Okay, can we move ahead?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So what we are going to do, we have been able to select our content, and we've chosen a font type. So maybe for this, I need to choose a font type of my choice. Just come here, look for font type, maybe monotype. Monotype, Cursiva, which is that. Okay. I can also choose a font color. So come here, choose a color of your choice, and the color you choose what will be given to your content. Okay. You can also decide to have a highlight color, and this also helps you to be able to highlight your content. Assuming you're reading a document and you want to highlight a few parts of the document, the best option for you to do, take the content, and then you highlight the content with a specific color you choose from the color section here. You will be good to go. Now, when you go and save the changes, just look at the save changes or Control S on your keyboard, and all will be done. If you look at all this, your page has margins. This is a left margin, and this is the right margin. Then at the bottom here, there are also margins at the bottom. This is where the page ends. And then at the top, this is where your page starts at that level. So whatever is above here is under the header, and whatever is below is within the footer. But you can also add the content within the footer. So are we together, friends?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Anything you want me to repeat, or I can move forward?
It's okay, you can go ahead because we are really absorbing what you are delivering.
Okay. So going ahead, looking at this content, we need, because Word helps us to organize our work so well, so we are sometimes required to make what we call paragraphing of our work. The paragraphing of our work, one of the things that we really look at is indenting. Making sure that the left margin where your work starts is the same as the right margin. If you look at this content right now, the alignment is not proper. So for us to align it, for example, I need to align this paragraph and see these two, you see how they look like. You can have justification as an alignment. That means the start, as you see it, the end, and the start is at the same level. So simply select your content, you come to the alignment section and choose justified. You can use another alignment option, maybe the first one. Probably we do this left aligned, do right alignment. And then probably at the top here, you create some time and say MS Word. MS Word class, MS class, that is on 12th of December 2024. And assuming this is our title, we want to put it in the center. Just click at the title, and then it's the center element will be placed in the center. You can select and bold it to make sure it is bold enough. You can even increase its font size to make sure it really reflects the title. Okay. So these are some of the things that we can actually do to make sure that we are able to go through this. We can change whatever we've been able to put here as part of our outline. For example, we use the blades. Assuming you want to change blades, just select all this, come to blades and numbering, and then choose another bulleting of your choice. You come to the numbered section, we're using Roman numerals, come and use alphabetical letters. Everything will change. Okay. Now, within whatever we do, there's what we call conserving of our work. If you look at all this, see, all this how you see them. There are several options that we can do. So assuming we want to change this and make sure that we conserve our pages to make sure that they are very well maximized, then we do what we call columns. We can put this content into columns. So select whatever, like what I have selected, come to layout, come to columns here, choose a number of columns you want. And we are getting, I chose 3, that's why we have 3 columns here. You can still go ahead and say, I want more columns. And then within the columns, I want to have a line in between. And then you just click OK. You shall have a line in between the different columns. Now, the people that write magazines, the people that do reports or newsletters, if they are doing it under Microsoft Word, they'll be able to use some of these styles to make sure that their work really looks nice at the end of the day. Most of you will be doing research at the end of the day, which means you'll be coming up with tables of contents and references. So now what I want us to do is to see how do we add a table in our Microsoft Word document. Actually, we want to add a table in that section. So how do we add a table in that section? Okay, let me repeat the columns before I can move on to the table. That is for, who is this? This is for Nsereko Kuthum to be able to see what we did. I said what you do, pick the content for which you want to add a column. Let me add some content here, new content here. I want maybe 8 columns, 8 paragraphs. That's why I'm putting 8, and I'll have that. So assuming I want to have columns for these 2. Okay. So I'm going to move to the tabs section, and I look out for a tab called layout. Now the layout tab, I'm going to move to columns. So in the column section, I'm going to go down and choose the number of columns I want. I can choose any of these, but I can also go and come to more columns here, and then I have more time to choose how many columns I want. In the number of columns section here, increase them to 2 or 3. And as you keep increasing them, you'll have a preview here. If you want to have a line separating the columns, you can do this. And then once you're done, click OK. You'll have your 3 columns within your work. Go ahead and have it aligned, justified, and then you have better looking content as opposed to what we see below here. All together, madam.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
Like after maybe doing the columns, like if it was 1 and you intended to have like 3 or 4, how and then can one reverse it to a single column?
Okay, you go back and select what the text you've put into the columns. Come on back to the layout section. Come back to columns here, and then choose. If you want 1, click at 1. The columns will disappear. If you want 2, you click at 2. You'll have 2 columns instead. want left column, that's how it will appear. If you want the right column, that's how the content will also appear. Okay, kindly give me a minute and I get back to you.
Excuse me, sir.
Okay, yes, please go ahead.
Is it my network? Because I wasn't getting.
What did we lose you from? At what point did we lose you?
To do with the columns. I saw how they are created.
Yeah, let me
But-
undo everything for me to take you through again.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, assuming I want to add columns to these two paragraphs from here, okay, up to here. Those are two paragraphs, not so?
Yeah.
So what I do select the two paragraphs, like I've selected them.
Are you
I
ready
come-
to flash?
I move to the layout section. Immaculate, please mute yourself. So I'll move to the layout section on the tab of MS Word window. And then I'm going to come to the columns section. And then here I am given columns I can work with. The default ones will have 1, 2, 3, left and right. Now, supposing what I'm interested in is not here. So I'll move to the columns section here, more columns below here. And then I can indicate the number of columns I want. Maybe 4. And if I want a line in between, I'm going to click at the line in between. If I don't want a line, it will not be there. And then when I'm done selecting the number of columns I'm interested in, plus their spacing below here, then I am going to simply click OK. My text is going to move into the number of columns I have chosen. Sorry, is it okay now?
It's very okay. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome. Now, from the columns, you've read newspapers before, where you find someone has written probably the first letter of the article covering about 3 lines. Those are called drop caps. Do you have anyone who has ever heard about drop caps?
Yes, sir.
Sorry?
Yes, we heard about drop.
So how do we add drop caps into the Word document? I want to give you another option where if you're not sure what to do, there's what we call the help feature onto your Word window. So what you do, you come to F1 for help, and then type drop cap. Drop caps. And then the system is going to show you how you can change or you can add a drop cap into your document. So I don't want you to get stranded at some point. Microsoft Word will be able to give you whatever you need. So first, the drop cap, you go to the insert button as you see it here. Then you choose drop cap, indicate the number of lines to drop cap, the space from the margin, how you want the space to be. And then once you're done, you click OK. And you want to exactly do what they have told us to do. So you select the letter that you want to drop cap or the letters. Then you come to insert, look for drop cap. Who has seen where it is? It is here. It says none, it is dropped in margin and also drop cap options. So if you choose dropped, we have a line that has been dropped. If you want more lines, then you're going to come to drop cap options. Okay, you do dropped, and then you choose the number of lines to drop cap to drop. Maybe 4 lines. That means you shall have 1, 2, 3, 4 lines dropped. So you say, okay, those 4 lines will be dropped, and then you shall have a letter appear like that in that format.
Excuse me, sir. By definition, what does it mean?
Sorry?
By definition, what does it mean? I think
What
the
does it
letter mean.
Now, when you're writing your articles, probably I should be able to give you, let me just check here. And I want to share something with you. Do you see what I'm sharing on screen now?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Have you seen such letters?
So many of them.
How do they help you with? What is their use?
According to me,
Mhm.
for example, we take A here.
Mm.
A can serve as the first letter first letter in the word after. So A represents that first letter.
Mhm.
Mm.
It is all about beautifying your work, making your work beautiful by having a writing style. And that's why you see a drop cap letter is a combination of characters that is used to decorate the beginning of a paragraph.
Okay.
Just to decorate the beginning of a paragraph.
No,
And that's why it is
idea.
always at the start of a given paragraph. Are we together, friends?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other question before I can proceed?
Yep.
Okay. The other thing I want to look at briefly before I can end today's session, I want to look at shapes. Look at shapes. And then one more item I think we'll be able to go today. On this window, oh, I also had a table. Maybe let me start with the table. So for you to insert a table, you need to first know where you want to have the table. You give it a name, maybe timetable for classes. Since some of you are timetable masters. So you come to the table section here under the insert. You choose the number of columns and the number of rows. How many days do we have a week?
7.
The ones you go and teach, because all of you are teachers.
6.
6.
Some do 6, some do 5.
5 days. Those are 5 days, sir.
Okay, it's okay. We'll be able to see. And then how many sessions do you have? You have morning to evening, morning to break time to lunch,
Yes.
and then lunch to what?
To evening.
Evening.
So that means we shall have a section for a day, okay? Then break, not so. Then lunch, not so. And then
Yes.
evening. So assuming that is what we need, those are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 columns. And then we can specify the number of days, that is maybe around that. So the top here, we shall have the time, maybe day. Okay, so by day we have Monday, we have Tuesday, we have Wednesday,
Evening.
we have Thursday, and then you discover that we are missing one more column, not so? So
Yes.
usually you click at the end of the table, where I've clicked down here, this is where I've clicked at the end here, and then you press 1, the enter button, you get the other column. Alternatively, you click in the middle or within the last column, press the tab key, it gives you another column. We shall look at the other option where you can use to add another row. Sorry, not a column, but a row. Okay.
Excuse me, sir.
Mhm.
I didn't get this very well. Does it matter the side where I click from?
Yeah. I said there are 3 ways we can add columns. Okay.
Yes.
The first one is for us to use the tab key on your keyboard. Click in the last column and then press the tab key, you'll get another column, rather another row at the bottom. The second option is for you to click at the end of the row itself, which is where I'm putting my cursor here. And I hope you can see. And then I click there to direct my cursor or my point. And then I press the enter button, I'll get another row. The other option is for me to select this as I've selected it, right click, go to insert and select rows. Where is it? Rows below. We shall have another row below. There are 3 options we can use to insert rows, and the same thing will be used to insert columns at the end of the day. If you don't want these, just select whatever you don't want, right click and say delete rows, they will be deleted off your table. Okay? So now we have the days of the week. Maybe we need to have another row at the top here, insert rows above. So have another row here. Okay, if you want it. So now this is the day, this is morning, that is 8 to 9, not so? Or 8 to 10, let's say 8 to 10. To 10 a.m. This is now break time. And so this is the 11. What time? A.m. to 10, 1 p.m. So next one is lunch time. And so we need to add another column here. So you're going to select at the top here. You put your cursor at the top. Left click for the column to come. Right click and go to insert. And then you say insert columns to the left because you want another column to the right, sorry. Insert columns to the right. And I have another one too, still there. Right. So we have 2. 4 p.m. and then the last one is sports. Is that okay? Assuming that is our program for the week, not so. So Monday around 8 to 9, 8 to 10, what do we cover? So maybe this is English. I've seen some people on call. Let me call their names. Simon. So tell us what we cover on Monday. 11 to 1 p.m. Then we go to 2 to 4 p.m. Okay, so Monday is done. John Paul, Tuesday.
Tuesday, SST.
Okay. After break.
After break, we can go in for RE.
RE. Then after lunch.
Literacy 1.
Literacy 1. Then Wednesday. Chiveru.
Mathematics.
MTC. After break.
So we can English.
Okay. Then after lunch.
SST.
SST. Doreen, Chandiru. Friday, Thursday. Doreen. Doreen seems to have logged on and disappeared. No wedding.
Let's have science in the morning.
Okay. Science in the morning. That's Thursday. After break.
After break. RE back.
RE. Then after lunch.
In the handwork.
Handwork. Okay. Okay. Then Friday. Rusum. Nansereko. Onayetaddeko buteesi n'adduka n'agenda. Stewards.
Kale. English, no, science, mathematics, science, then RE,
Okay.
is handwork.
Assuming that is what we have in our week, okay? So usually what you do, you draw, you get a very good pen, and then you draw lines here for break tea, for lunch. Chiveru.
Yes, please. Yes, sir.
Kakati, we are going to see how we can match some of these things. So one, for break time, the whole of this, as you see, I'm selecting it until the end. That is break time, okay?
Yes.
So select it and say right click, and then I'll say merge cells to make sure it is one cell. So have break time being one for all. Thing for lunch time, the column for lunch, right click and merge cell, and also the last one here, right click and merge cell.
Okay.
So
No.
after right click, after merging my cell,
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, sir.
On merging here, what if you get a rubber somewhere and begin rubbing line per line? How can it be?
It will take you much more time. And when it comes to restoring some of these things, it may be a little bit hard for you. So the best option is merge or split. So if you want to
thank you, sir.
merge cells together, it's better use the merge cells bit. So I want this to be able to text direction. So I right click at this and go to text direction here. And then I choose how I want the text to appear. I want it to move from top to bottom, going up. So that's what I will choose. And then I will say, I'll do that. So it takes that as a format. And I can place it in the middle as you see it here, in the middle here. So it is in the middle there. I can even increase the font size. So it really looks that it is in that format. I come to the same for lunchtime. Right click, text direction. I choose the direction and simply click. Okay, so assuming I want to the third one, which is also sports, I'll do the same. Right click, go to text direction, choose the direction I'm interested in, then I'll be good to go. So that is it. Now you discover that the size of break time is not the same as lunchtime, and so what I can do, and also the placement. I click at lunchtime, break time, and I take a format painter to apply the same formatting. Format painter, come and click at lunchtime. I also click at, yes, please. Departure.
We are actually noise, so I just for soon, so that we.
Where was it coming from? Okay. So we have our sports, it is also there, and we have done it. Okay, which class is this? We can center this also. Right click and merge. I think the noise comes from Chiberu. So I'll come here and say, this is a school. For term 2. So I want this in the middle, so I'll have it centered in the middle. And then I can make it bold and also increase the font. All together, friends? If I want to have this decorated much more, then I can apply what we call table properties. So wherever there is a date, there is a time here. Okay. Whenever there is time, I can select where there is time. I'll go ahead and right click, go to table properties. Borders and shading. I want to give it a shading of this color. So I'll select this format painter, click at that as a format painter. Then I'll move to the rest of the other And if it applies the same, if it does not, what I do, I also select the same, right click, table properties.
Excuse me, sir.
Yep.
Kindly requesting for a pardon about the painting of the table.
That's what I'm doing again. So you select the cell that you want to paint, right click, table properties, borders and shading, then come and choose a color. That's the color we chose previously. Is it this? And then you click OK. And OK again. The same color will be applied. For our times, that is break time and so on and so forth, still right click, table properties. Now we can select non-adjacent cells, by the way. Select the first cell, press the control button. While holding it down, press the second cell and select the third cell. Okay. Right click, table properties, borders and shading. Now this time, let's apply a better shade color, maybe this. And then we can apply a simple style, maybe of about 12% for each. And then we say, to make sure that it is still visible, and then we say, okay. So you see it has changed its color as well. And the fill has changed everything. So this is a sample of our table. We've done a few things about it to make it look better and smoother. In our exams, I usually give an example, rather in an assignment. I always give an assignment where we define the different types of software. Okay. And it is in a form of a table. And I will show you at some point how we do it. The same way we've been able to do this, the same way we work on that table. Where I say the software is a set of instructions, and the computer has the hardware and the software. So we do all those things into a table, and I'll be able to show you how we're able to do this at some point. So that is for the table. Now I want to move to the shapes, and then I will call in the question and answer. So allow me finish the shapes, and then I can invite your question and answer. Shapes. Now for us to apply shapes, we go to the insert section and we'll go to the shapes feature here. Under illustrations as a tab, we have pictures. That means you can insert a picture into your computer, onto your document. Maybe assuming you're writing some report, you go to pictures, and then from pictures, you go ahead and look for where the pictures are. If I have some pictures here. Okay. Let me look for some other pictures. Okay. I say this as a picture, you insert, you shall have a picture there. 2, can go back and insert another picture. So here, picture. You look for another picture, you insert that other picture. And this is the other picture. Now, what do you discover? That when you insert this picture, you cannot easily move it from anywhere to anywhere. But what you can only do is probably to resize its size to something smaller by holding the edges here, and then you drag inside. You have to resize or to change the size of that specific image. If you want to move this image to any other part of you, then you need to right click and we do text wrapping. So what you're going to text wrap, click at it to select it, okay? And when you select it, you come to picture format here. Under picture format, we have wrap text here. You can change it to either tight or square. Same thing here, picture format, wrap it to either tight or something. Now, from here, you can move this. If you move this, it can be moved to any other part of your work. And that's how that is possible to happen. Sometimes you may want that after you've been able to do these two pictures, you want to merge them into one. Select the first one, press the control button, select the next one, then right click and come to grouping. You group them as one. So whenever you're moving one image here, they will be able to move at the same time. Okay. As long as you've been able to group them, they'll be able to move at the same time the way this is moving. That is in as far as images are concerned. Then for the shapes, we can have quite a number of shapes as you see them here. They are what we call the callouts, basic shapes, flow charts. You're writing something and you want to direct people where to go. You want to draw a simple curve. You want to draw a circle. These are all the shapes that we can actually talk about here. So what you do is simply pick a shape of your choice. Let me say I've picked this arrow. Click at the arrow. I'm going to draw my arrow as I want it to appear. Okay. I can go back, choose another arrow under shapes, and then I can draw another arrow in that format. Okay. That's another arrow. I can also do it this way, can move this arrow, and I'm able to do something different. Still under shapes, I can simply go back and look at a square. I'm going to draw a square. That's how it will appear. Okay. I want to draw a graph. I can choose this line here, come down here, and I'm able to draw. The line was pointing to this side, so I draw my line. So this one is not straight. Now it is straight. So let me first resize this, maybe. Now I need to go back and draw another line which points up. Okay, not so. I want to draw the law of demand and supply. How does the law of demand and supply look like? A graph for demand and supply. Colleagues on call. It demands that when you have a curve, so I'll come to shapes and pick a curve. Okay. So these are different curves or lines. So I'll pick a curve here, maybe this. I'll come to the start of where the curve is. The law of demand says that as you keep moving, you reach a point of satiety. Okay. At a certain point you reach, the satisfaction drops down. Sometimes drops down drastically, sometimes it's not drastic. When you reach the end, double click, you have your curve with you. Let me repeat. You go back to insert, look for shapes. Come and pick a curve because now you want to draw a curve. Click at the start of where you want your curve to start from. Move your mouse. If you reach a point when you feel you need to have a corner, left click. Then you want to make another corner, left click. And then you're able to move like this. And then when you reach the end, double click. You'll have your curve. Okay. That is for curves. Then what will be remaining is for you to add text below here and up. For example, up here, what do we put up here? Ronald, what do we put up here where my cursor is? Is it price or quantity? Simon?
It's price.
Price. So what you'll do, you'll come to the insert section. Okay. Now this time, you look for what we call a text box. A text box. Come and draw a text box here. For you to be able to write, so you write price. You can select this, go back to home, and make it smaller so that it is able to fit within. Okay. If you want to draw the same thing, so you press the control button, click at this, drag and
Okay, switch on.
let's just draw another one briefly. Go back to draw text box, draw a text box, come and draw a text box here. So this is quantity. Can also reduce the size. Okay. Now we don't want these boxes to appear. What you do, you double click at the box, or you click at the box, and then somehow, somewhere, let me see. When you click at this table, rather box, you're able to see where the lines. Okay. Go back to shapes here. Okay. I'm trying to see the line, where the line is. Okay. Plus and lines. Color. Okay, I look for where I can take out the line from.
Excuse me, sir. I thought you can use the shape fill.
The shape fill?
Yes.
Tell us how to get to the shape fill.
I think you go to, is it layout? Or you go to the shapes itself? No, you go back to the shapes, because when you go back to the insert of the shapes, then it has its own space where it shows you the shape fill. I think that is where we can say the shape fill, no fill, or solid lines or no lines. There's something like that.
Okay. So what we can do,
shape fill.
When you click at thank you. When you click at the shape you've inserted, gives you a contextual toolbar called text box because we click the text box. Then you move to shape outline here and you select no line. You do the same here and select no line. Now the no fill would work if you had if you clicked at this and, for example, shape format, you had added a fill of this kind. That's what I added. So that's when there are several styles here you can apply of shape. But usually this works when you're working with these arrows and boxes. Okay, so I'll do undo here. So shall have price. So if you're having a field here, for example, within this shape format, you can come and have a certain field of our choice. And then if you don't want to have the field there, click back at the shape format, shape fill, come to no fill. And then the inside bit of the shape will not have any fill. That's a difference as opposed to what she was also letting us know. Thank you so much for that kind of participation as well. So those are the lines and those are the curves. You can have as many curves as you want. You can have as many shapes as you want. Some of these shapes are like call out. For example, this is a call out. Just click at it, then and then you can expand this to reflect what someone said. So in between here, you can put some content with that kind of call out. There are quite a number, so you just choose whatever you want as an individual, and that's why you should be able to go with that. Sometimes we use what we call smart art, like fields, Venn diagrams that have already been defined for you, like organizational charts, circles, where you have to, like processes. So you simply go to Smart Arts, and then you're able to pick an art of your choice. And then once you get it here, this is what the art says. Then you can make edits and add text. Maybe this is a childhood. This is primary. Then you have secondary. So this is quite huge. You can actually make it smaller by placing your mouse at the edges, and then you're able to drag inwards, produce that kind of circle, if you so wish, from where it is. There's also what they call word art. Under the insert section, this is where we find the word art. Maybe you want, these are different, those who are doing art, this is what you majorly do. You get your word, put your text here, say maybe Kumba University. Kumba University. Then you can choose the font type. Say mono. There are several font types. So you choose what you want. I'm looking for some font type and see, I don't know if I will find it. And let's take that as an example. You can make it bold, you can reduce the font size, and then you say, okay. So this will be our word in Kumba University. You can expand it, you can shrink it. And the more you shrink it, okay, the smaller it becomes, and then you're able to write whatever you want to write below here, below the text itself down here. So that is word art. You can change the way this word art looks like by clicking at it too. Then you come to the word art section here, and then you come and change to any other of your choice. So these are so many, so you just need to move with it and see which one you think would work better for you, and then you go with that. So the designers, that's what they go through when they are simple. They say these are simple designs. You can add onto your report, onto your work. Now, time for questions. Feel free. Feel free to ask and I respond. It's now time for Q&A as we close today.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, how are you?
I'm okay. Kindly inquiring about the arrow making. The last shapes you made, I didn't get them all.
Let me do it again.
Thank you, sir.
It's like which arrow?
This one whereby the designs you last made, the one of childhood to primary. The last thing
Those
I
are
got
called,
was
they are called smart art.
smart
So you
art.
locate where you locate where you want to have them put. You go to the insert tab on your computer. Just a moment.
Okay, sir.